Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is considering making a president, governor lose his seat if they defect from the political party on whose platform they were elected to another. Presently, the Constitution only prescribes such for National Assembly and state houses of assembly members. A People's Democratic Party representative from Taraba State, Rimamnde Shawulu, has now sponsored a bill to extend the condition to the president, vice president, governor, and deputy governor. Since the last general elections in 2019, governors who have changed parties include David Umahi of Ebonyi State, Ben Ayade of Cross River State, and recently Bello Matawale of Zamfara State. Okay, for sponsor of the bill, Honorable Rimamnde Kwemum, who represents Taraba in the House, is our guest tonight. Very warm welcome to Newsnight. I hope I got that name right.
Yeah, you got it right.
Okay, so
somehow.
Yes, I'm a Nigerian, so I should be able to pronounce all Nigerian names correctly.
Well,
thanks very much. What would you say have informed, these the sponsoring of this bill? Is it because of, the threat to our democracy and or instilling democratic culture in elected officials?
Actually, this bill has nothing to do with what is happening currently. It is my belief that presidential democracies such as the ones that we have need to have parties or structures that are stable. Now, we've had a situation in Africa, particularly in Nigeria, where political parties have become mere platforms to contest election. Yet the Constitution says that you cannot contest elections without a political party. And in the National Assembly, the Constitution makes it mandatory, even though it has not been implemented, that if any member defects, the member loses his seat except the party is in a crisis. And the crisis of factionalization has been defined by the Supreme Court, I think, in a judgment which made it clear that you can only talk about factionalization when at the national level you have two parallel structures of the party. Presently, we don't have that either in the APC or in the PDP.
And automatically, the Matawale should be ousted as the
No. I'm talking. You see, the point I'm trying to make is not about Matawale.
Okay.
It's not about Ayade. It's not about Ben Umahi or any other person who is rumored to be going into APC. In the past, we've had people move from APC to PDP. Now, those movements have not allowed us to establish democratic norms and structures that will make democracy stable. If you look at other climes where democracy is stable and where development in the economy and in the polity is going on very well, you will see very clearly that people remain in one political party throughout their lives, because political parties
it's like a culture.
They are not just identity and cultures. They are values, what you believe in. You are in a political party because the political party will do A, B, C, D. So when you now begin to move from one party to another, what are you telling the public? And quickly, let me add that if you look at what has happened in the last 100 or so years in the world has moved very fast because of certain beliefs and values which came into politics in Europe. And were those defining those value systems that enabled Europe to take off and be where it is today. It is those values that we should socialize our children into. Today you are in PDP, tomorrow you are in APC, next tomorrow you are in another party. How does that help the system? One. Number two, let me quickly add to that. If you look at what has happened now, a party goes and campaigns to people that it wants to do A, B, C, D, E, F. And during elections, as we have in Nigeria, people lose their lives because of these parties. And then someone wins the election on the platform of that party and decides to leave. And the final point I wanted to make with this is that it is actually discriminatory to elected representatives to require them to leave their offices and allow governors or presidents who have won election on the platform of certain political parties to leave those political parties for other ones. If you have decided to change your value, leave the seat so that the party can continue to
pursue its ideological goals.
Yes.
Let's talk about a bit more this cross-carpeting and the crop of leaders and leadership that we've seen. Some school of thought have said what we've seen over time with all of this cross-carpeting is the fact that it just looks like it's the reinvention of the wheel. Now with this bill, is it going to maybe open up to a new form or new crop of leaders in your thought?
In other climes, when people reach the point that they have disagreement, they resign, they leave and go. The people, for instance, of Cross River State voted for PDP. PDP has always won election in Cross River State or Ebonyi State. Then you win election on the basis of that political party. 1.5 years or 1 year, 9 months down the line, you leave the political party. What are you telling the people that fought? That's one. The second thing, in the case of Zamfara, it's interesting that the PDP wants to go to court, and I think they should pursue that angle because the Supreme Court judgment made it very clear that APC should not be in power in Zamfara State. And look at the contradiction.
And this is applicable?
Is
this applicable?
I think they should pursue and seek the interpretation.
Well, yes, that's
if the Supreme Court had ruled that. So that is what they are pursuing. I think they should pursue.
Well,
but the defining thing is that we should allow the political parties to develop. And they can only develop if people are consistent.
Well, your bill does not contain anything like, what some people want to say, independent candidates or zero party, It does not look as if the ongoing constitutional amendment is going to take care of that. Don't you think that in this situation, because of the flirtatious nature of our politicians jumping from one party, back and forth, that this zero party system or independent candidate?
Actually, my bill is an independent, a private member's bill.
Yeah.
And there are also a few private member bills dealing with the issue of independent candidature. At the retreat we held not long ago, that issue came up for canvass, and the views were divided in the committee. But many people like me are of the opinion that we should allow independent candidature. And the complaint of those who are against it is that if you allow independent candidature, people, literally hundreds of people may want to contest and so forth. But there's what we also think that could happen is you don't just say political parties have to fulfill certain requirements before the contest. So if an individual wants to contest election, there are certain requirements that ANE can set forth for him to contest. There are thresholds in the United States, for instance, that enables people to say, like Ross Perot a few years ago, who came into the ballot because he fulfilled certain conditions. We are arguing that, for instance, that it's possible to say, if you can garner signatures of voters, a certain percentage of voters, you could then be able to contest election. In that way, only very serious people who want to contest election will contest. If you, for instance, require that 1/3 of, like my constituency, there are 400,000 voters. If you require that for me to be on the ballot as an independent candidate, I should get signatures of registered voters, a quarter, or get 1/5, because 1/5 is really large, 1/5 of the people who are registered voters. There's no person who is not serious that will go to the whole world, going from village to village, asking people to endorse him. So I think that it's possible to do, like I think they say India, and the United States, where certain thresholds, where certain requirements are made, so that when people want to contest election as independent candidate, it will not be for just anyone coming up to say he wants to contest. If we do that, that will open up the democratic space.
All right, we wish you luck with this. Honorable Shawulu, thank you for your thoughts.
Thank you very much for joining us.